Parshas Tzav, something very nice from the Rebbe's father, Rabbi Yitzḥak Zatzal. This week's Parshas Tzav comes in continuation from Vayikra, all about Karbonos, and today we're going to focus something very interesting on the Korban Mincha. Like it says in this week's Parsha, V'zois Toides HaMincha. There's an interesting Gemara, which Rabbi Yitzḥak expounds, something very beautiful. There's a Gemara in Menochos Daf Kuf Daled Amud Beis. It's the end of the 12th Perek of Masechta Menochos. And it says, Omer Rabbi Yitzḥak said, if you look, there's 5 types of mincha offering, a mincha korban. You have mincha soiles, fine flour, that's one. Then you have machavas, a shallow pan. Then you have macheshes, a deep drying pan. And then you have ma'afei tanur, in the oven. And in the oven you have 2 types, chalas and rekikin. Chalas is loaves, rekikin is wafers. So you have 5 types of menachas, and all of them had to have oil. So Rabbi Yitzḥak says, it's a mashal from a king, and it's a korban mincha. Mincha is not like a shoyer, which is an axe, which is expensive. It shows on ashiros, wealth, and even a bird. No, it's a mincha, just flour. So he says, a mashal Rabbi Yitzḥak, a king. He had a friend, and he wanted to make him a meal. The king knew that his friend is poor, so he said, you know what? Just make me 5 different fried foods with oil. Hashem says also to an oni, a poor man, he brings a soiles, bring me 5 types of minchas. Ask Rabbi Yitzchok, why is it Rabbi Yitzchok who said this din? Every saying in Talmud has a connection to the author, the one who's saying it. Here's Rabbi Yitzchok. Why? And also, why were there exactly 5 minchas? What's the reason of 5? Explains Rabbi Yitzchak, so beautiful. And he says, but we have to give a short introduction. A mincha in general, which we're talking about, we had the korban. So if you look in Lekutei Sichos, Chelek Hey, page 400 and 401, the Rebbe explains that every korban is really like a mincha. Mincha means like a present, a gift to Hashem. But then there's also what we say in davening. We have shachris, we have mincha, and we have ma'ariv. The Gemara says in Brachas Daf Chavov Amud Beis that Avraham made shachris, introduced shachris. Yitzchok made mincha. He introduced mincha. Yitzchok went out to the field to daven. That was mincha. So the Rebbe ties over here the korban mincha with the davening of mincha. Just like a korban mincha is a gift from a poorer person to Hashem, flour. Also mincha, the Rebbe brings down in the Oros from the Tzemach Tzedek in the Torah, that in the morning when you have the sun coming up, that shows it's shining. It's a sign also with Hashem that there's revelation of godliness. When the sun is going down, that symbolizes a time when there's more concealment setting in. And that's why the Zohar says that most of the sins that we have in the Torah all happened in the afternoon. Chet HaEgel, the burning by Samigdash, won't go into all the details. So it's a time when it's called Gevura, concealment, and that's connection with Yitzchok, and he made mincha. And through the davening, we elevate and sweeten up the concealment. Shouldn't be a godliness, should be revealed, not in a concealed way. Now we'll understand, you'll see why there's 5. We spoke about this, I'm not going to go into great details. If you take the Aleph base, it says in Chassidus, you have 22 letters of the Aleph base, and then you have 5 letters, which the Gemara says in Megillah, the base of the base, called Man Sapach, Mem Nun, Tzadek Peichov. These are final letters, 5. All the other letters of Aleph base, Aleph doesn't mind if you have another letter after it. Base, Gimel, Dalet, you could continue talking or writing. But these 5 letters symbolize it stops over here. They're final letters. There's no letter after a final mem, not after a final nun. Tzaddik, pei, and final chof. Same thing is with Hashem. When Hashem talks, He created the world through Basora Mamora's 10 sayings. As long as He's revealing, that's revelation. But the 5 letters symbolize there's a stop, there's a blockage. That's where Hashem's words and His revelation comes, the energy is concealed. So these letters, Man Sapach, symbolize 5 of concealment. And that's why we have many, many times in Torah where we have the number 5 symbolizes concealment. That's why when, on Yeshana Rabbah, we knock on the floor, like we say in davening, Hey Gevurah, the 5 types of concealment we want to sweeten up. So there's 5. There's so many explanations. There's also the alphabet, if you look, is divided into 5 different segments of letters, as the Alter Rebbe says in Tanya. So we have the number 5, and that's the meaning over here, says Rabbi Yitzḥak. Who says this concept? The author was Rabbi Yitzḥak. And he's taken from the first name Yitzchok in the Torah, who made the who established the Tfilas Mincha. That Mincha is connected to the 5 korbanos of the Mincha. The korban Mincha of the poor man with the time, symbolizing we have to elevate over here some darkness, is the 5 over here, the korban Mincha with the Tfilas Mincha. If you look over there, the Rebbe explains also that Shachris, a person before he goes to work, he davens, wonderful, also by Ma'ariv, but Mincha is something very special. He has to tear himself away from his work and go and daven Mincha. He's so involved in the world, which is not revealed, very connected to Hashem, and he tears himself away and he elevates himself to come close to Hashem. So Mincha, the concept of Mincha symbolizes where could be a time of concealment, a place of concealment, a situation, and he reveals it. With this comes Rabbi Yitzchak and emphasizes a beautiful, beautiful gematria. We'll share 2 beautiful things. If you take this 5 minchas over here, mincha adds up to 103. Take mincha times 5, 515. Who is the author of mincha? The Gemara said before, Yitzchok. You take Yitzchok and Rivka. Yitzchok is 208, Rivka 307. Together, 208, 307, you get 515. So Yitzchok and Rivka was the ones who established the Tfilas Mincha, and the 5 korbanos of Mincha is connected to the concept of Mincha, 5 times Mincha. And with this, Rabbi Yitzchak concludes a very interesting thing, that it says in Zohar, in Chelik Beis, in Parshas Truma, Daf Kuf Nun Vav Amar Aleph, the Gemara says, the Zohar says, that during the week, Mincha time, the sun's going down, is a time of concealment and we have to elevate it. But he says, when it comes Shabbos afternoon, the Mincha of Shabbos is called Raivan, the highest time, and that's what we say in our davening, Vanis Filasi L'cha Hashem Eis Rotzoin. It's a very auspicious time. And the Zohar continues that there were 3 great people who passed away Shabbos afternoon. And the Alter Rebbe, in our Shulchan Aruch, he says this in Hilchas Shabbos, Siman Reish Tzadik Beis Halacha Hey. He brings it down from the sources from the Zohar. That's why we say 3 times Sid Koscha, because 3 great people passed away on Shabbos afternoon. Yosef HaTzadik, Moshe, and Dovid all died Shabbos late afternoon. Come, Rabbi Yitzchak has unbelievable remez over here. If you take the gematria, what's the gematria of Yosef? 156. Moshe, 345. Dovid, 14. Add the numbers together. 156, 345, 14. And you're going to get to 515, which is exactly 5 times Mincha. So these 3 great people who passed away Shabbos afternoon, which sweetens up, and the greatest revelation happens at that time, they wanted to undo and elevate the 5 times Mincha, which adds up to their name, that there shouldn't be any concealment, only revelation. And this is so beautiful how the author of the Gemara is 5 times of the Mincha is Rabbi Yitzchak, connected to Yitzchok and Rivka, connected to the Shabbos afternoon, which elevates the Tfilas Mincha. There should only be revelations for everyone.